Hello, I'm Natalia and this is my multimedia evidence called Let's Teach Culture, which is focused on culture. The school is Divina Pastora, the subject English, and it was done during the 8th week, with the children from the 3rd year to the 6th one. Description of the experience. Culture is only worked through the activities which appear in each unit under the section named Culture. The teacher spends a whole session as a maximum to work it. In this way, after having been taught all the vocabulary and grammar embedded in the lesson, students have some lessons. Related to the UK traditions, for instance, they can be about some special food they have, some typical animals, traditions, past events, sports, typical activities of one specific zone. Normally, there are two listening. In the first one, pupils have to circle, tick or mark some aspects about the main idea, while in the second one, they have to answer some questions. Therefore, the teacher plays the CD twice for each listening, while pupils pay attention to it. After that, the teacher checks the answers, projecting the correct one on the whiteboard. The next thing the students do is comparing the English culture they have just listened to with ours. For example, if the listening was about special English dishes, children should think about typical Spanish ones and compare them. This way, the teacher does a brainstorming to give some clues to the children. Hence, she carries out a brainstorming highlighting the paella, the lamb stew, the Spanish omelette, etc. And after that, pupils talk a few minutes about that in groups so as to share their ideas. Then, the teacher corrects this activity giving turns to each group so as to share with the rest of the class their thoughts. Finally, she asks some questions about the topic introduced by the listening, such as if they could like to try the English food, which is the special English dish they like the most, and if they could like to cook something. After finishing it, there are more exercises which are close activities to complete in their notebook, related to this part of the book. In this way, children usually do all of them on their own. If they don't have enough time to do them in class, they finish them in their homes as homework. A reflective comment. Culture is an important aspect of the foreign language which should be worked as well as the grammar and vocabulary, since it makes children be more interested in the subject as they see that part like a curious fact which is appealing to them. Therefore, if culture is introduced properly, pupils will want to know more about the English countries and people, and in this way they will be more engaged with the subject. Peter and Swanson 2011 support the idea of considering the culture essential for the students' foreign language learning, by saying that through teaching culture, the learning becomes more significant and that it can enhance the social process of language learning. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of cultural experience with my internship, as this part of the subject is done very quickly so as to finish the lesson as soon as possible and begin the next. Hence, I have noticed that children consider that part of the subject as a simple listening which hasn't any relevance for them, as they see it as all the boring exercises they have to complete to finish with the book. For this reason, I have learned that, depending on the perspective the teacher gives to it, spending time teaching culture can be either worth providing the pupils with enjoyment while they learn new things about the native countries, or become unworthy and similar to another dull activity which children don't pay attention at. However, on the other hand, I have learned that comparing our culture with the English one can be really interesting, as in this way, pupils think about the positive and negative aspects of each culture, so it helps them to develop critical thinking skills and open their minds. Educo 2014 backs this theory by saying that comparing cultures makes children value and learn, tolerate and respect other traditions more, and avoid taking decisions based on stereotypes and prejudice. Moreover, another benefit of comparing culture is that in this way, the teachers can work the preference and the debates in a cross-curricular way. Proposal of teaching innovation. From my point of view, this aspect of the subject has not been worked enough, and I'm worried that pupils think that culture is not important at all. For the reason, I propose some changes to enhance the value of teaching and learning culture. First of all, in order to avoid the fact that the students saw culture like a dull activity which only serves for completing exercises, not only have teachers to do the exercises of the books, but also they have to introduce it like an interesting fact which arouses curiosity. For instance, using original English story tales, since from reading them we can understand some habits and behaviors while learning new vocabulary. 3.0 supports the use of these tools, since from reading typical stories we can expand the cultural awareness by working with fun activities related to the book, like making up new endings and debates about the behavior reflected in the tale. In addition, pupils can share funny stories and experiences they once had related to cultural issues or misunderstandings. For example, a situation in which an inappropriate greeting is used.